Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of NewTek Tuesday Tutorials. My name is Richard Evans and today I want to go to part 2 of the continuing series about Live Story Creator. So in a previous video I've shown how you can route the teleprompter part of your Live Story Creator to a monitor, but now I want to start getting into the nitty-gritty of this and showing how to start having your script run the show for you. And in this particular episode we're going to show just exclusively how to use comments inside of a Word document to run your show. So let's dive in and take a look. Alright, so we're going to start off in the TriCaster TC1 interface, and I want to show you just kind of a few things that I've done in the TriCaster interface just to kind of clarify a few things. Okay, so first off you'll see that I've renamed some of my inputs. So input number 1 is currently called Jeffrey, and input number 2 is Maggie. And then in my input number 5, I currently have set up to show the teleprompter output that would show up on a screen for your viewer to read. And then also I've made a little input here for myself, which is just Richard. Now I have my script loaded into my automation tab here. So let's switch over to my laptop and start to customize this script to where we can start to have our script run the show for us. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to take a look at these first couple lines here. So the lines that I have here are just, so next up let me introduce to you a good friend of mine, the famous Jeffrey Smith. Welcome, Jeffrey. Okay, so what I want to do is when I reach this particular word or name in my script on the teleprompter side of things, on Live Story Creator, I want that name to trigger an action on the TriCaster, which is, let's take a cut over to Jeffrey, which is my input number 1. So to tell the live script to do this is we'll go up to comments here in the top right and click comments, new comment, and now I have a comment here attached to this word Jeffrey. Alright, so what's nice about Live Story Creator is it uses some artificial intelligence, or what some people call fuzzy logic, to do some of the actions on the TriCaster for you. So you don't have to necessarily run a complex macro or anything. I can literally just type the word in Jeffrey here. Okay, and then I'm going to go to the next line, which says, now I'd also like to welcome a guest you have seen many times before, the even more famous Maggie. So now let's go ahead and do another comment here, but now I'm going to do something a little bit different. So I'm going to type in Maggie Auto, meaning instead of doing a cut or just a straight take over to input number 2, it will do a transition over into that. Okay, so let's go ahead and save this, and let me move back over to my TriCaster. And since I saved that, now I remember that here is the little the reload icon for my script. So let's go ahead and reload it, and automatically you can see that I've already have some of these actions in here. So these actions on the automation tab are going to show up in blue for these comments, and if I hover my mouse above it, you'll see that it just says Jeffrey as a little pop-up there, because that's the action that I want to have performed. And if I scroll down a little bit more and hover over Maggie, it says Maggie Auto. Now, I also want to draw your attention to input number 5 here. So this is what it would look like coming out of the teleprompter itself. Now, you'll notice that those words that are in blue on my script do not appear on the teleprompter output, because we just want to have our host reading these lines, not necessarily knowing what action takes place. So those are going to be absent from the teleprompter, but they will be present from the operator's standpoint. So okay, let's go ahead and just start this script up and hit play. So you'll see that my script is running here and over here, and watch this caret. As soon as it gets over to the word Jeffrey, check it out. It will now do a cut over to Jeffrey at input number 1. Alright, now I'd also like to welcome a guest that you have seen many times before, the even more famous Maggie Smith. And check it out, we'll get to Maggie when the caret gets there, and bam, a transition over to that. So that is pretty awesome. Alright, now those are kind of some basic things here. Let me go ahead and go back over to my Microsoft Word document, and I'm going to add a few other things. So the next thing that I have here is, let's take a look at our weather report. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Let's go ahead and say comments, and I can say weather here, but instead let's just say input 8 auto. Okay, And now I'm also going to go over to this next line. Let's go take a look at SkyCam and check this out. This is where I'm going to start using some of the artificial intelligence of the TriCaster. So let's go ahead and I'm going to add a comment here. And I am going to say for this comment, let's get rid of the editor, I don't need that. This particular comment is going to be picture in picture, bottom left, balloons. All right. Now, doing so I haven't set anything up as a picture-in-picture, like a downstream keyer or anything on my TriCaster, all right? And actually, let me go ahead and take a look over the TriCaster interface here real quick, because I want to show you that I have absolutely nothing in my DDRs at the moment, all right? So now let's go ahead and I'm going to save my script over my Word document. All right, so I'm going to move back over to my TriCaster interface, and I'm going to refresh my script here, and check this out. So again, I'll click this button here, and refreshes my script. And once that's loaded, check this out. Over here in my DDR1, it has now loaded a balloon clip. So in that comment where I said, put a picture-in-picture in the bottom left of balloons, it goes through and uses that artificial intelligence or fuzzy logic to even load in different files. And even if you're just close to the file, it'll still bring it in. Like for example, it said balloons within the comments, but within the TriCaster, the actual video is called balloons singular. So even if you're a little off, it will still load it in there for you, which is very convenient. So now let's go ahead and run this script. I've added a few other comments in there as well, just to kind of show these off. So let's go ahead and just run this, and as a teleprompter goes through, you'll see we'll go across our first instruction here for Jeffrey, and again that will just go and cut over to input number 1. Now I'd also like to welcome our next guest, blah blah blah, and that will be Maggie Smith, and again we'll hover over Maggie's name, and that will go Maggie Auto. All right, and then on the next part I put input 8 and not weather, and now check it out. It still knows where to go. Now, the most recent comment that I've added in there, which is my picture-in-picture bottom left, this is amazing. Check this out. So now, here comes my picture-in-picture coming in, and then where I have now is another instruction, which means picture-in-picture go off screen. And now let's go over to my virtual set, and let's pan out to see my awesome virtual set, which is pretty cool, but let's get a close-up of me here. All right, now, remind me, what's my name again? Boom, Richard Evans, video content producer. Tons of awesome things that you can do within the TriCaster interface using Live Story Creator. So all of these different comments in here, that is a very simple way to trigger different commands on the TriCaster. So I highly recommend going through and checking these out. These are all part of the Live Story Creator, which is exclusive to Premium Access, and you can get that at NewTek.com. So as you can see, some really cool things that you can do with Live Story Creator. Now, again, this is only part 2 of a continuing series about Live Story Creator and how it can run your show for you, so stay tuned for more episodes. And you can find out more about that by going to our YouTube page and hitting subscribe at youtube.com/NewTekInc. And you can also find out even more information about NewTek products by contacting your local reseller or visiting newtek.com. Also, we do an episode of NewTek TV at newtek.tv where we'll be showing off different capabilities of the TriCaster systems along with some upcoming announcements and special guests. So be sure to check that out as well. But until next time, thank you for watching, and be sure to tune in next time for another edition of what? NewTek Tuesday Tutorials.